Welcome back to the 10th lecture of our web development using ChatGPT and Rails. In the last lecture, we prompted on ChatGPT or we used the ChatGPT to guide us that how we can generate fake data for our active record model. Okay, and we did this using Faker Gem for our employee model, and now we have more than enough data, a lot of data, or 1000 employee records in our application. And now in this lecture, we will use ChatGPT to guide us that how we can export all the data in the CSV format. Okay, and let me tell you that why we need export kind of feature. So, and don't let me tell you that we can simply ask ChatGPT that what is the importance of this kind of feature. I mean, what is the importance of exporting the data in the CSV format. Okay, so we can ask ChatGPT that what is importance of exporting data in a Rails application, okay, or in a web application simply. When you prompt this question, then ChatGPT will start responding for your question. So I'm not sure why it is taking time. Okay, so here you can see that it's showing you the advantages of that kind of feature, like exporting the data to CSV in a web application offers several important advantages like interoperability, data portability, ease of use, integration, customization, and so on. So just go through the response. Backup of recovery, that is more important thing. Okay, so now since once you go with that response generated by the chat gpt, you will come to know that what is the importance of export features in a web application. Okay, now we will ask chat gpt that I want to export. Okay, so let's type here, I want to export list of active record objects in my Rails application for a model. How can I do that? Okay, when you prompt this question, ChatGPT will guide you through the steps. Okay, so here you can see that add. Okay, let's just do that. Okay, so response generation has been finished, and now we can go through that. Okay, so add CSV export logic to the controller. Implement a method in your controller that retrieve the active record objects you want to export in the format as CSV data. Okay, and create a CSV template. Respond to CSV format and all that. So here is an example from the users model controller. Okay, sorry, the users resource perspective. So you can see, you can suppose that in an application we have a user resource. So in the users controller, what we are saying that format.csv, and then we are calling users.csv, and in the user model we implemented a class method like self.toCSV and so on. Okay, so here you can see id, name, email, blah blah blah, whatever the data. Okay, I mean you can define the CSV headers here. Okay, but this does not seem a standard solution. Okay, because we is still making our model fatty to and making it responsible to generate the CSV. Okay, so what we can ask to the chat gpt that I do not want to implement the CSV generation in the model file or model class. I want to do this within a separate service class. How can I do that? Okay, so when you submit this, you will see a separate response, a new response from the chat gpt. And why we need service class? Because for example, let's say we have a user resource in our application, and if we implement the csv generation logic to the user model only, then for example, if you need the same exporting feature for the other model, then you have to implement the same thing in other model as well. And for model 3, 4, 5. So number of models for which you want the export feature, you need to implement the to CSV method or the CSV generation logic into the separate method itself. Okay, but now in this way, what we have, that we have a service class which is dedicated to generate the CSV data. Okay, and then whenever we need to generate CSV export for any kind of model or any active record model in our application, we can simply call this service data, okay, or this service file, okay, and it will generate the objects for us. So here you can see that first we need to create a CSV export service class. So here you can see that we have the CSV header, okay, and it is using ID, name, email, for example. But what to do if we want to use all the data, so I mean all the attributes as all the attribute name as header and all the attribute values as the data, okay, I mean as the row values. Okay, so what we can do, that we can further ask ChatGPT to refactor this, that I want to use all attributes of the model in the header. Can you please modify the service class? Okay, when you prompt this question, it will do this like this. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, so here you can see. Now it is the better solution, that we have all the records here. Okay, and now what we need to do, that first we need to create the CSV export service class into our project. So first we need to generate a service folder, or we need to create a service folder in our project directory, and then we will create a CsvExportService.rb file. Okay, so first let's copy this file name. Okay, and then we need to create, just go to this. Okay, and then what we can do, mkdir app services services. Okay, and now go to the project directory, that you have a service folder in your app directory. Okay, and here we will create a new file, sorry, paste it here, csvexportservice.rb. Okay, and now in this service file, what we need to do, that we first need to copy the entire code. So just copy this code and paste it here. If you wish, you can remove the initial line, or not wish, just remove it. Okay, and here you can see that extracting keys from the first object's attribute. Okay, and then it is extracting values from the object's attribute. Objects attributes like employee's first name, last name, email, contact number, and so on. And the attribute keys like the name of the attributes, like for example, let's say Ravi. So Ravi is the first name, so it will use first name as the header value. Okay, ID also created it, updated it as well. Okay, so here you can see what it is doing, that first it has created a CSV export service class. Okay, then it used an initialize method, okay, to initialize, and it is taking objects, that is the collection of the active record model. Okay, or the all the collection of records for that active record model. For example, if we are generating the CSV for the employees, then it will take all the employees to generate the CSV. Okay, and here you can see generate CSV dot generate. Okay, and then it is inserting CSV header into the CSV file, and then for the each object, it is inserting the values of the object into the CSV row. Okay, and these are the method CSV headers. So it is mentioning the attribute names. Okay, and this CSV row is mentioning the values of those attributes. Okay, so this is what we need, and this is our, now for example, if you want to remove this comment, you can remove that. Okay, because we can simply understand with this line of code that what it is doing. Okay, now we need to use this CSV export generation to generate the employee CSV. Okay, so what we can do, that we just have the CSV service class, and now first go to the employees controller. Okay, so here you can see we have this model, and now what we can do, that we will ask ChatGPT that I have the following model, I have the following index action. Okay, And then now I want to call generation from here. How can I do that? Okay, so let's do that. It will show you. So here you can see this is how you need to do. Okay, so we just need this kind of lines, sorry, these respond to lines. Okay, so just use that, copy this. Okay, and then go to the employees controller, and here we need to paste it. Okay, so here you can see respond to do format, and then format.html. So format.html will render the list of employees as regular. Okay, and format.csv. So whenever we use format.csv, it will it will call the csv export service file and then send the list of employees or whatever this collection has the value of employees. Okay, and then these number of records will pass to the csv service new class. Okay, and here into the csv export you can see that the employees collection will come here to the initialize method. Okay, and then it will use the generate csv method which is mentioned here, that is generate csv. Okay, this method will get called. Okay, and now when you do that, the employees file will get generated. Okay, now first we need to check that whether this is working or not. Okay, so first save this and save the csv export file as well, service file as well, and now go to the browser, and here in the users page you can see that what we have. First let's do the regular localhost 3000 employees resource. Okay, and here you can see that we have this data, so that means this line is getting being rendered, which is the format.html. Okay, that means we just simply requesting the list of employees in the html format. Okay, so this format.html is working, and now we can use .csv to this employee. So okay, and when we do this you can see that we are getting uninitialized constant employees controller csv export. Okay, since this is an error because we need to do some configuration here to use the csv export service class. Okay, but we will ask this error from the chat gpt because I'm not showing you that how to fix that. Chat gpt will tell us. Okay, so what we can do, we can simply call I'm getting this error in using service class. How to fix this? And when you submit this prompt, ChatGPT will give you the file like this. Okay, so here you can see that we first need to see the auto loading. Okay, so you can see Rails follow the certain conventions for auto loading files based on the class names and file paths. Okay, so we need to ensure that the service class being rendered, because service directory is a directory that we made as the custom directory in our project. Okay, so first we need to mention in the application.rb that we need to use this, we need to use the files from the app services. Okay, so first go to the application.rb in the project, application.rb. Okay, and here you can see then config.agar load paths. Okay, so what we can do here, rails.root.join app services. Okay, and now we need to restart the server. So just go to the terminal where the server is running, restart the Rails server, and now come to the browser. Okay, and remove the .csv from here. Okay, you can see that this is working, and now we need to call the csv format from here, csv. And when you do this you can see that the list of the employee csv has been downloaded. Okay, and now when you click on ok, you can see that this is the list of data that we are getting here, a list of all the employees that we are getting here. That means we have total of 1000 employees here, you can see 1002 actually, and because we generated 1000 records from the faker, we created one manually, and the one line is showing for the headers. Okay, so now you can see that we generated the employees data in the CSV format. Okay, and now based upon your requirements, you can limit the list of attributes to your CSV data. For example, if you don't want to use the ID or date of birth or date of hiring or created it, updated it in the CSV file, you can exclude that. And for that, you need to mention your variables here separately. Like as headers, you need to mention ID, name, first name, email, last name, whatever you want to do. You have to do it manually here. Just like the chat GPT shown us in the its previous response, which is this. You can see here that what it was doing in this previous its previous response, that you can see we need to provide the values like that, like ID, name, email, and then in the CSV, user.id, user.email, user.email, or object.id, object.email, you can see just like that. If you wish, you can do that as well, but you should try this at your end. Okay, so what we did in this lecture, that we learned how to generate or how to export the list of active records objects, okay, in the CSV format. Okay, so this is how it works. Now in the next lecture, we will try to export all this data into the XLS format. Okay, like this CSV is the comma separated value format, but now in the next lecture we will try to export the same list of employees within the XLX format, and we will ask the same thing from the chat GPT. Okay, so that's all from this lecture. Follow this one, try to export the list of employees, and we will meet into the next lecture. Until then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.